Majid Maskati and Jordan Ullman join me in Studio Q. I've been looking forward to this. Welcome.
What's up, Shad? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. Jordan, I'm going to start with you because this has been a big week. You especially behind the scenes a lot of the time. So how has this been for you, the level of attention?
Crazy. I mean, like when we started in a dorm room, we really never thought we'd be here with you, talking about our first album that just came out. So it's crazy. It's amazing.
And Majid, adjusting for you, how's it been?
Well, speaking of the dorm room, I remember watching one of your videos very early on in the dorm room as well. The Rose Garden, playing in reverse, walking backwards. So it's been a journey, man. As like in as few words as possible, it's been an insane journey.
In the last couple of years, any particularly surreal moments that stand out for you?
The day I got the email from Noah Shabib, that's one day.
We're going to revisit that story a bit later. Okay.
Yeah. Also, coming back to Toronto and meeting Noah and Drake for the first time with Jordan, signing the deal after months of just figuring everything out, the logistics of it, being in the studio, getting to collaborate with one of the biggest artists in the world, Drake himself, incredible talent. And then watching that song just explode and then go around the world, that was really incredible. Yeah.
I'd imagine looking at that paperwork or, being in the studio with an artist at the level of Drake would be one imprinted in your memory. What about for you, Jordan? Any particularly surreal moments from, if not the last few weeks, then the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, just releasing our album and just being with this guy and our team right now. It's crazy. We went from just making music in basements and dorm rooms, and now we're having real studio sessions, and we're able to collaborate with people. It's incredible. Seriously, yeah.
Okay, let's go back to that U of T dorm where you guys first met. Jordan, what were you bonding over musically? What were the sounds you guys had?
I think when we started to really talk about music, we just opened up YouTube and we just went back and forth, and it was just like, that's dope. That's amazing.
What were the sounds? What were the artists you guys were playing?
It was like French disco, house, R&B.
Some UK dub.
Yeah. It was like mainly electronic R&B based. So
yeah.
Now, what strikes me is, Jordan, you were like 19 at the time. You were a young guy as
21,
well.
Yeah.
And some of these influences, you guys were talking about French disco. How did French disco come into your life as a 19-year-old?
Well, I mean, when we started talking, I was like DJing at that point, and I was DJing more in the house scene and not really focusing on really one type of electronic music. When I met Maj, he was showing me some incredible artists like Cherokee, and we just found this incredible sound that we wanted to be influenced by and wanted to take somewhere. So we just, I think that was more of Maj, bringing me into the French house scene.
Okay.
Even though I grew up loving Mr. Oizo and Ed Banger and all that stuff. That whole scene in '08 was crazy, huge influence to me. But yeah, when I met Maj, I think he opened my eyes to a lot more music, and It was amazing, yeah.
And Maj, how did that? Tell me about your early musical influences and how music came into your life as a young guy.
The reason, I guess, why we shared a joint love over that French house scene is because a lot of it is sample based off of older disco and groove records. So that is the stuff that my mom really loved to play when she was feeling good or doing something, it just gave her that energy. So going out in Toronto, I ended up going to a few bars here and there, and there were some DJs that used to spin vinyl and have Motown nights, but also used to play disco. And so they introduced me to people that not only made disco, but took that disco and sampled it in ways that was compatible for dancing straight up, gave you that vibe. So it was basically learning through that and then just connecting that with Jordan, because he always loved to make dance music.
Yeah.
So connecting that soulfulness with that movement.
And then you guys started working together, started posting some music anonymously. I understand you were concerned about potential employers maybe getting wind of your music. Is that what was behind the anonymity?
Well, I mean, when we were first starting out, in hindsight, it's kind of I was concerned about, maybe not really knowing where I was going to go with my future. And I think we just wanted the music to speak for itself, for people who were, new listeners and not associate them with anybody or what we look like or anything like that. Just have it live as a musical piece, because the music really was made for us to share and bond over, and for our friends, you know, to drive around back home together with. And yeah, that's really why we did that.
You guys have continued to be careful about how you put yourselves out there. What's behind that approach?
I think it was just the way we started to make music. Like Maj just said, like it was just for ourselves, right? So the approach of being anonymous or elusive isn't really with that stigma that those words usually have. Like we just really did it for ourselves, and we didn't really know what we were doing at the time. So, I mean, everybody's gonna know our story now, and we're proud to share it with the world. So now is the time. Now is the time when you roll out with an album. We have our whole theme. We have our whole direction. This is the time to really open up to the world.
And you only get one chance to make a first impression,
Exactly,
as
yeah.
they say. Is there some power in that, in making sure that when you come out, it's what you guys want to how you guys want to present yourselves?
I think the best part of this whole first impression is that Jordan and I have been together for 4 years, and I can honestly say that we feel exactly the same as we do today. The day we met, you know what I mean? It's
in terms of that excitement around
yeah, we
music.
just get inspired the same ways by each other. We just love doing it the same way. So that is why, you know, I feel like to have that time period is just a testament to like our relationship, you know. I'm really excited about that.
I know the feeling of having this music you've created, but you need to wait.
Yeah.
Who kind of helped you navigate through that feeling? Because it's a difficult feeling.
Yeah, definitely. The 40 really helped us just take our time and really achieve what we wanted to achieve musically. There's so much that you can learn in music, and there's so many different ways to look at it. And he just kept opening our eyes to different ways to look at it and different ways to flip records and all these things. And it really, you know, shaped our music. It helped us grow as artists. So now I feel like our sound is evolved from where we were, but nothing's really changed. But he definitely helped with the process.
Yeah.
Maj, you alluded to your first email from 40, Noah Shabib.
Yeah. No.
Things almost didn't happen because that first email, you weren't sure how to take it.
Yeah.
What happened with that first email?
Well, he's a very private person. And, you know, he's behind the scenes a lot, and a lot of the work that he does can sometimes go unnoticed to like the mainstream listener. But people who are into the technical side and the production side, you know, he's super accomplished. So not knowing exactly who he was at the time of the email, I'm really, really thankful that my dad, you know, he went and did a full Google search
Okay,
just to confirm.
So let's back up for a second. So you guys are making some music together. 40 got wind of your music, got a chance to hear your music, and then he sent you an email.
And then he sent an email, yes. Yeah.
And because he's behind the scenes, you weren't sure exactly who he was.
Yes. And
fortunately, your dad.
And we had gotten some emails, like a few smaller emails from other people through SoundCloud saying, we would love to sign you, we would love to manage you, we would love to this and that. So it was kind of like, you know, in the context of those other emails, we were a little more unsure than if it was the only email coming from Noah Shabib. So... the fact that it came from a founder of a label and like one of the biggest producing talents in the world.
We had a funny moment though, because we really didn't know who he was. So, I mean, like, I remember Maj telling me for the first time, like, yeah, you know, 40's, Drake's producer. And I was like, who is, like, I had to go look him up, everything. And like,
he's also like now a lot more people I feel know about him because just even Drake has grown, you know, and he's a superstar now. And he was a star then, but it was also like he was like, I guess everyone is becoming more open, even us, you know. So I guess 40 and Drake went through that same process as well. So at that time as well, 40 was probably a little more under the radar.
But your dad is doing due diligence.
My dad is always doing due diligence. He's always making sure everything is running smoothly. He's just one of those guys, man.
So shout out to Maj's dad.
Shout out, Honey. I love you, man.
For helping to make that happen.
Yeah.
One thing I love about your sound is you're not afraid to go there, to go to that place of music that makes people feel good.
Yeah.
And some people are afraid to go there.
Yeah.
They're afraid that it will evoke a sort of guilty pleasures type of thing in their mind. What do you guys think about that concept altogether of guilty pleasures?
I mean, guilty pleasures being what you're talking about, like in music, it's you just have fun. Like if it makes you feel good, it should, like, that is what you should be doing. Like that is what everybody's goal in life should be doing, is to feel good around good people. Like this is why we're here.
What do you think holds so many artists back from going there?
Probably that. I mean, like or probably just, you know, their influences. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of I feel like a lot of music right now is just based on what you're putting out as you as like an individual. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people just try to be mean and just try to have this cold sound and surround themselves with people like that. But I mean, we just do what we love and we don't really think about that. But I mean, I guess guilty pleasure could be bad, but I mean,
if it causes no harm, everyone has guilty pleasures. We read things that we shouldn't read. Sometimes you see something that you're like, oh, I wish I never saw that, but like a part of you clicked and went and looked at it or something, you know. But for us, like it's not even about the guilty pleasure. It's like actually just that pleasurable moment, like people dancing for the joy of dancing, you know, running for the feeling that running gives you, you know, that just adrenaline, that excitement, that is what we're really chasing.
And not being afraid to go there and making people feel good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You both talked about 40s influence. Jordan, you've said he's changed your approach to making music.
Yeah, definitely.
How so?
Every single day, man, like being in the studio with that guy he's like a wizard.
Yeah,
he's actually a wizard. He always has something new and something that will just take music to a different place. Do you mean
in terms of a production technique,
it could
or
be
a
like
musical
production
idea?
or like technology or some new software or something, or even just like the approach of how to start with an idea, right? He's just taught me so many things that I've just like been in the other studio just thinking like for hours, like, oh my God, like how do you think of that? So it's just those little things are just
compounded over time.
Yeah.
What has he taught you as far as how to approach music, whether on the music side of it or outside of music in terms of work ethic or other things?
Work ethic, you know, he's taught me how to deliver an album. You know, actually have the confidence to be like, okay, this song is ready to present to you. Okay, now this song is ready to present to the world. That's a big step for me. Teaching me how to work on other aspects besides just making the music. Because as an artist, you know, you have to learn how to perform. You have to learn how to, you know, identify with yourself, identify with your audience. So he's taught me about that as well. He taught me about songwriting and song structure and the purpose of a song and the meaning behind it and what's the theme you're trying to relay. So, you know, all of those elements and even more that, you know, I could speak for hours about 40. He's like a true mentor for us, as well as Drake and Oliver.
Jordan, you told the New York Times that you wanted to make a real album, a real piece of work with a theme, a mood, a setting. What's the mood and setting in your opinion of this album?
To me, it's very visual. It's very colorful. It's like the first real step in our world that we're trying to paint. So I feel like the theme and the setting is just, you know, personally for me, it's a lot like self-reflection and, you know, what Maj is talking about is a lot of things you can just sit with yourself. So I feel like I just want the album to open people's minds to not feeling that maybe is a guilty pleasure, you know, maybe you should be able to just sit with just a piece of work, like an album, and just put on headphones and listen to it by yourself. Like I think there's like a special connection that you can find just with an album in yourself.
Mm-hmm. Colorful for sure. Maj, for you, what's the thematic coherence on this album?
I think for us, you know, it's an introduction to us. We want to introduce ourselves to the world, and it's basically the first step we're going to take into marrying all the different creative identities that Jordan and I are together, you know, like bringing in the visual side, bringing in the design side, all through music, which is what we're communicating through. So we're basically introducing ourselves as communicators to music. And then after this album, you know, hopefully building a narrative into the next one that will bring you more into the world. And because things are a little bit open-ended at this point, because we're just getting to know everybody. We're just getting to know ourselves. So that's basically the self-reflective aspect.
Well, that's what I was thinking was what's next? You know, we have this album that to me very clearly points to, as I was saying earlier, late nights and that sort of visual and that sort of setting.
Yeah.
If you guys are going to make an afternoon album, let's say, for example, what influences would you guys?
I don't know the last
afternoon
This is like
album.
one of the first afternoons I've seen in a while. So, I mean, I don't know when I'm ever going to make an afternoon album. I don't know about Maj, but yeah.
What influences would you draw on for the
An
Majid
afternoon
Jordan
album.
afternoon
That
album?
is such a good question, man. Oh my goodness.
Well, what's your afternoon vibe, first of all? What are you getting up to in the afternoon? That will dictate where you're going to go musically.
So usually in the afternoon is when I'm sorry to say, I'm starting my day because we spend a lot of late nights working. So the afternoon album is really the morning album. And in the morning, I like to listen to things that get me, up and upbeat. So anything that's like driving. So, an old Whitney Houston banger or, some Janet Jackson even.
Yeah, it would definitely be like dreamy, upbeat because I'm still dreaming. So
Yeah. So it would be
mix.
some dreamy, upbeat, feel-good music for sure.
Okay, look out for that one coming next.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining me here.
Thank you, Shad. It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah.